Hi, I'm Liz Hood. I'm with the Office of Cultural Education of the New York State Education Department, and I'm here with the Accessibilitators team. Would you please introduce yourselves?
I'm Stephanie Barrett, and I'm with the New York State Library Research Library section.
I'm Amy Huebner from the New York State Library Division of Library Development.
And I'm Sharon Phillips from the New York State Talking Book and Braille Library.
So Sharon, would you please describe the project that you've been working on?
Our project, Hear All About It, aims to educate library staff throughout New York State and make them more aware of services that they could be providing directly or through referral to their patrons who may have print disabilities. Statistics indicate that there are about 300,000 individuals in New York State with vision impairments of some kind, but only about 10% are registered for talking book services at one of the 2 regional libraries throughout New York State, the Andrew High School Braille and Talking Book Library in Manhattan and the New York State Talking Book and Braille Library in Albany. These 2 regional libraries are part of a national network that provides services to individuals with print disabilities throughout the United States, and it's a program of the Library of Congress. Initially, we focused our outreach efforts on public libraries and library systems, reaching out to libraries that are already registered for talking book services. There are approximately 146 registered libraries in the Tibble service area. We're reconnecting with already registered libraries to get updated contact information and make sure they're aware of all of the services available, including BARD, which is the Braille and Audio Reading Download Service, downloadable books, and mobile apps. Make sure they know where to get information about other services and other resources, as well as where to find applications on the Tibble site. Our goal is to train public library staff to more easily recognize who may be eligible for talking book and other related services, such as Novel New York, how to sign them up for service, and how to certify an application. By encouraging more of the 756 public libraries in the state to register for talking book service as institutions, we'll familiarize them with the components of the service, such as how to apply, how the players work, and what's available in the collection. We want to help libraries serve more of their patrons who can't access traditional print books or use their local public library. The talking book libraries, library systems, and libraries throughout the state can and should work together to promote services and enhance access to information for all New Yorkers.
Stephanie, why don't you start to tell us about why you wanted to do this project?
Well, I like doing planning projects, and I wanted an opportunity for professional development, and I thought this project in particular would be a good fit with my interest in disability issues.
Amy?
I'm very committed to public service, as I used to work in reference at the research library. I was interested in this project because it is aimed at people who often receive limited or no service. This will make libraries and their patrons more aware of the services available to them. And as the primary person working on Novel New York databases, I'm also interested in promoting our databases to a different audience.
And Sharon?
I wanted to be involved with this project because we know that many New Yorkers need access to alternate format resources when they lose their vision or have other kinds of disabilities that prevent them from using the books in their local public libraries. Also, libraries throughout the state need to understand the components of the Talking Book Services program and the Novel New York program so they can refer eligible patrons to sign up for these resources and utilize these important services.
And Stephanie, what did you want your project to achieve?
Well, we wanted our project to achieve greater awareness of talking book and other related services among libraries and library staff throughout the state so they can actually share this information with their patrons. We wanted library staff to clearly understand who's eligible for these services and how to sign up patrons and or certify their applications. The end result should be an increase in the number of registered borrowers for both of the regional library, Talking Book and Braille libraries serving the state. We also wanted more public, school, and other libraries to register with either the Talking Book and Braille Library or the Andrew High School Library as institutions so that they can receive players and some audio and Braille books that they can use to educate their staff and promote the services to patrons.
Amy, do you think you've succeeded?
Although our project is in its beginning stages, we have had some successes that move us closer to our overall goal. We will be adding questions to the 2015 Public and Association Library Annual Report about assistive technology available in libraries. After talking to one of our community resource people, he did a presentation on the Talking Book and Braille Library for directors of the libraries in his system. Many of those newer directors did not know about the service before the presentation. This new awareness will help in promoting Talking Book and Braille services, and it may result in some increased library registrations. We have also worked on a timeline of activities that has helped us organize the project and determine the number of staff that would be required to complete the project.
Sharon, can you tell us what your biggest successes and challenges have been?
Well, the scope of this project is potentially very large, and one of the biggest challenges was determining where to start and where to focus our initial efforts. Once we decided to make the first phase of the project a pilot focusing on just one type of library, public libraries, it became a little easier to manage, and we could envision subsequent phases that would be directed towards different types of libraries and also towards community organizations. Another challenge was determining staffing for the project, both short-term and in the long term. We also felt a lesser challenge was finding enough time to work on the project each week in order to get the desired results. The biggest success was finding good community resource people. The director of a local public library system met with us to hear more about the project, and he also agreed to present this information to a monthly meeting of his 28 public library directors in the system. And then when he got feedback, he agreed to pass that along to us. We received some interesting input from the initial meeting with the system director, and also from the feedback he provided after their monthly library director meeting. We also got an enthusiastic response from the low vision coordinator of the local Veterans Services facility when we asked if she'd be involved as a community resource person for the project. We haven't yet scheduled a meeting with her, but that will happen in a subsequent phase of the project.
With the benefit of hindsight, Stephanie, what do you think you should change about the original project's concept?
Well, we've been continually asked to expand the parameters of this project, and we would have probably begun by assigning a priority level to each of the possible stakeholders in this project, and then creating a timeline that incorporated contact with each group in a realistic time frame.
Amy, do you think this project could be used by any library anywhere?
As we build the project, starting with a pilot phase that includes just public libraries and public library systems, we will have toolkits that will apply to each of the 3 different types of libraries: public, school, and academic. The principles of outreach to a very large group are applicable to any library, and the model for doing outreach and publicity to both groups and individuals in the community is transferable to other projects.
And Amy, to continue, do you want libraries to replicate the project, build on it, redo it?
It is inherent in the project that libraries will participate as individual libraries using the toolkit that we will provide rather than start from scratch. Hopefully the toolkit will help them build on it and find partners that are relevant to their community, and then it can be used over and over for them to find new partners.
Stephanie, what are the next steps for your project?
Well, we have created a timeline, and we'll be getting some feedback from the library systems director that we've been working with, which will help us in defining the next steps. We need to determine how training and the promotion outreach materials will be funded and prepared, and who will complete these tasks. And we also need to determine who's going to be working on this project after ILEAD is over. We will be in touch with the Downstate Library, the Andrew High School Library, to find out if they would like to participate in their area. And the original phase of this project has actually been the most difficult because once we actually have the materials prepared for the first phase, the following phases will sort of follow naturally from that. They just need a little bit of tweaking.
And Sharon, what are your top 3 resources?
Our top 3 resources include the Division of Library Development within the New York State Library, because they function as a network for contacting libraries, library systems, and outreach coordinators throughout the state. Also, the National Library Service, or NLS, consultants and staff in Washington, D.C., because they work with talking book libraries throughout the country and they can offer advice and suggestions to us. Also staff in other talking book libraries in the network, because many of them have outreach recommendations and have outreach projects and ideas to raise awareness of services for print-disabled patrons. They can also provide information on what outreach efforts they have tried and what has worked and what has not been successful. Also, library system directors, because they have direct contact with member libraries and can be a great resource for encouraging promotion of these services. They also do training for libraries and would be very helpful in refining and promoting the training that we plan to do on Talking Book and Novel New York services. We'd like to conclude our video with a quote from someone whose mother used Talking Book services, because it really illustrates the importance of keeping people connected to reading materials throughout their entire lives, no matter what shape or form these materials may take. And this is a note that was sent to the New York State Talking Book and Braille Library from the son of a patron who recently passed away. He says, "I'm returning Mom's audiobook equipment. She was 90 and passed away last year. She could not see for the last several years of her life, and these talking books meant the world to her nearly every day. Thank you so much for your help. This is a terrific program and a great use of our tax dollars. God bless and keep up the good work. It's truly not wasted."